Good morning. My name is Paul Jeffs. I've been working with Block Energy over the last year or so on the reservoir engineering aspects of our operated fields in Georgia. I've worked in the international oil and gas industry for over 40 years now, mostly in field development planning and production operations. My particular interest has been in characterizing different reservoirs through the analysis of geological, petrophysical, and production data. This is a necessary step in the creation of analytical and numerical models with which to predict future performance and also to identify ways of improving production through infill drilling, workovers, or new well completion strategies. My colleague Stephen James has recently talked about the geology of the producing reservoirs in Block Energy's Georgian acreage. He focused on the Middle Eocene reservoir in the West Rustavi field, where Block recently drilled an infill well and is planning shortly to sidetrack the suspended JKT-01 well in the Kurtsanisi field, just to the north of West Rustavi, as you can see in the location map. I would like to add some further commentary on these fields and on how we're integrating the production data with the new 3D seismic to improve the characterization, and on how this has led to the plan to drill the JKT-01 sidetrack well. I always find it valuable to have a good image of the producing horizons, as reservoir modeling calls for the fine geological detail to be averaged up to a coarser level to describe the whole accumulation, often covering an area of many square kilometers. This photograph of a Middle Eocene aged outcrop, some 20 kilometers to the west in Tbilisi, illustrates some of the geological features which may influence the flow of fluids within the formation. Of particular interest are breaks in lateral continuity and permeability variation often associated with faulting and fracturing. The presence of natural fractures occurring at irregular intervals through the reservoir gives rise to strong anisotropic behavior. The vertical movement of fluids is much facilitated by the near vertical orientation of the fracture systems, as is fluid movement along the plane of the fractures. Horizontal movement of fluids at 90 degrees to this plane, however, may be restricted. Stephen observed that analysis of the high-resolution 3D seismic data has allowed the orientation of fracture trends to be mapped, and this is an important tool for well planning and further reservoir development. Production from the fields in this area of Georgia started in the mid-1970s, giving rise to significant volume of well performance data. Although production volumes and surface trends are recorded in detail, there is less information on reservoir pressure and on oil and gas composition. The absence of such data may have frustrated previous operators in their attempts to develop the fields. However, with the help of the new seismic data set and with a more detailed evaluation of the available production data, Block has been able to identify several attractive opportunities. The forthcoming sidetrack of JKT-01 is a good example of this. The nearby Kurtsanisi 39 well, located approximately 250 meters to the north at reservoir level, started production in 1992 and has produced some 450,000 barrels of oil to date at good commercial rates, as you can see in the year-by-year plot of oil, gas, and water volumes. Detailed analysis of the production characteristics over time has allowed us to estimate the original oil in place contacted by the well to be more than 8 million barrels, consistent with our own and third-party mapping. Additionally, the flowing performance has been enhanced by pressure support from the underlying aquifer, similar to that seen in the successfully developed Samgori and Patatzuli fields to the east. Now, what makes JKT-01 sidetrack such a good prospect? Firstly, we see that the nearby Kurtsanisi 39 well is connected to a sizable oil accumulation and aquifer. This provides assurance of good reservoir connectivity in the area, which will underpin flow rates and production from the well. Secondly, the interpreted 3D seismic data, seen on the left in the diagram, has allowed us to design a well trajectory, shown in red, most likely to intersect the natural fractures necessary for good reservoir deliverability. Finally, it is also planned to drill the well horizontally for around 500 meters through the reservoir interval. This will provide the best chance of intersecting as many open fractures as possible to enhance production. An illustration of the potential impact of horizontal completions can be seen in this picture, where the production performance of vertical wells on the left is compared with more recently drilled horizontal wells on the right. The initial rates and overall recoveries are both enhanced, leading to stronger economic performance. In summary, I'm quite excited by the prospects for the forthcoming JKT-01 sidetrack and believe this will provide encouragement for similar infill and development opportunities.